Hi guys, welcome back. So I said I would get some of the Sisu series done if I could, and in the last video you watched stage 5 on Ven 10, where somehow I climbed out of my skin. My legs are definitely coming back to me, and if anything I'm starting to get stronger and stronger as the days go on. But I'm now going to do stage 6 tonight on Petite Douleur. Right, let's hopefully I haven't mangled that French too much. But that's 38.7k with a total of 581 metres of climbing. It is 2 laps, however, it does have an 11k lead in, which isn't on the profile here. With that though, it does mean we're going to go up the Petit KOM 3 times. Right, once in the lead in and then twice on the 2 laps, finishing with the Petit KOM hilltop finish. It has been a bit of a nemesis of mine, but I think I've started to get a grip of it now, and let's hope I can have a race as strong as I did on Ven 10.
So as with all kind of Sisu racing, it's a mass category start, and this one is no different. So I have sped this up because the 11k kind of lead into the bottom of the climb is just a little bit boring really. There's not much happens. There's a couple of rollers, but everyone does roughly stay together to the bottom of the climb. Obviously the A-cats are pushing it really hard. And my aim, you can see with the watts, is just as soon as we hit an incline, is just make sure I'm near the front and put the power down to stay there. And then as soon as we're back on a decline, I can kind of recover a little bit and drop the watts. But what I will say is as you can see them now, is the Sisu team absolutely played a blinder here and just had riders on the front constantly pushing it, trying to stretch everything out. And as this course is kind of a tale of 3 climbs, as I will play it in real time on all 3 climbs on this. With the sprint just coming up now, I did make sure I was near the front, but only one person contested the sprint, so I don't think it was that important to people on this one. I think the climbs is where it was decided. And we go back to real time for the 3 ascents of the Petit KOM. So again, I just try to stay as close to the front, and in this one, I really want to try and get up there with the A pack if I can, with a majority of the A-cat riders. I know it's going to be difficult, and this is probably going to hurt more than the other 2, but I really have to try and bury myself to get up there, because this is where the big splits can happen. So I do look around me, and I know I'm doing all right, and the fact that my teammates Sam, Lee, and Renee are all in this group. I know I can't climb as well as them, but if I can stick anywhere near them, then I know I'm doing all right. So the sprint just before the bottom of this climb didn't really give me anything substantial. I ended up with the air row, so I am going to try and save that till I really need it a little bit later on. I tend to do that with a lot of my power-ups, is just kind of save it until I absolutely need it. As you can see with the watts, I am going through the roof with the watts, but also my heart rate's going up. I'm in pretty much in the red on both of them. But I just have to keep going. I have to keep going. As soon as we hit this yellow section, where it does ease off a little bit, I can't take this as a rest. This is a full 5-minute effort. So I do work really hard to try and get back further up the pack. So as we get past this next kind of orange section, it is starting to get strung out a little bit. I look back and it's strung out even more. What I can't see, which is a little bit of a motivator for me, is any other B-cats. So I can't see another green dot in this group. I can see one further back. So that is a little bit of a motivator for me, just to try and get the watts back up there again. And now eventually I'm starting to struggle, so I do use my aero boost just to try and get back with the pack. And I know that this next section, everyone's going to go a little bit crazy and it's going to push on a little bit harder. So I've got to get out the saddle and just go up a couple of gears and just put the power down to try and get back up there. But as you can see, I'm both in the red in the heart rate again and in the red on watts. And I'm somehow managing to stay with the group. I'm really starting to fade now, and I'm having to work super hard, and they're starting to pull away. So my head's gone a little bit, as I want to be up the back of them, and so that I can get the draft for the next part. And I do cross the line with them. And I think that's it. However, stupidly, I come off the power and they just use anvils and everything and start to get away from me. And I'm having to work really hard to try and get back on here. But for whatever reason, I just got dropped, and I couldn't sprint to get back on. There were only 5 seconds. They just absolutely done me on the descent, which at 89 kilos I thought that would have been kind of my territory. But in anyways, there was a group behind that kind of started closing up. They were all A-cat riders, and there was only 3 of us here, so it made sense to put some effort in, but let them catch up. So we skipped forward the rest of the flat section there because this group that I'm with now, nothing really happened. Don't worry, I'm not. I'm texting one of my teammates who's DMing me as I'm riding. He's giving me a lot of motivation and telling me to keep going. Yeah, for a few seconds I can come off the handlebars. At least my legs are still moving. But the team that I'm with now, I say the group that I'm with now, they seem to all be working together, which is good. And this second kind of ascent, as it isn't anywhere near as quick as the first one, so it's a little bit more manageable. And as you'll see, when I went through the sprint, I got the feather, so I was extremely happy with that. And again, I'll save it for when I need it. Probably after that first ascent, it would be near the top where it's a little bit steeper, but we'll see. what I will say is the pace on this wasn't as high, but it was still high enough to keep us kind of stretched out. And we have dropped someone just off the back of this pack by 6 seconds, and so they still are shelling some people out. So I've got to still make sure that I'm still on the power, and I'm still trying to keep in the regions of 5 watts per kilo for certain sections of this. If I can surge and recover a little bit, then I will, but it is a 5-minute effort, so I've got to keep reminding myself it's a 5-minute effort. You see there, Chris is keep motivating us, but we're really stretched out now, and I start to use the feather just to make sure that I can drift back up for this last section, because I know going off the last one where I was kind of dropped on the downhill, if anyone else gets an anvil and gets away, then I'm gonna really struggle to kind of get back on. And I crossed the line with them, and this time I'm going to make sure I stay on the power. And then I got an anvil, and I used the anvil downhill, and that whole downhill section again was nothing happened. We stayed together, right? We just kept the pace relatively high, but what you'll see ahead is some other A-cat riders. Because we're moving as a pack, we were moving a lot faster, so we were picking off a couple of riders along the way, and we're going to pick up a couple more as we get to the kind of base of the final climb. The other ascents is really where this race is won. Those flat sections in between, you can just kind of sit in the draft and let other people work if needs be. The small like intestines and rollers and stuff are not big enough to kind of split the groups up. What you did see there in the road was people coming to a complete standstill, and I think some of them were some of the Sisu team, and I think that they've maybe done some paces, which there's nothing wrong with that, and sent some people out to kind of bury themselves for the team, because it is a team competition, and they're doing it in the pros as well. So they've sent a few people out to kind of pace for them, put 100% effort in, and then they're done. So that's what that looks like. I'm not sure, but if you've got people at the side of the road after they were pushing so hard earlier, then possibility. So as we're coming up this final climb, then so you got R. McEwen there. So that's Rob McEwen. So he's also in the army. I've raced with him on numerous occasions in the Army Road Race Series or the Army A Race Series, and he's a really strong A-cat rider, so I know that being in and around him, I'm putting in a good performance, but I secretly want to beat him. So out of all of these riders there, I haven't looked at another rider as I am keeping an eye on Rob, because I know how strong Rob is, which is why I would love to be ahead of him. So I'm going to try my best on this last part of the climb. And as you'll see from the power up, when I went through that last and final sprint, I got the draft. So not exactly the best one, but at least I didn't get an anvil. So I will use that when I need it. This last one, I have definitely climbed out of the saddle a lot more. I think my legs have needed the rest, so that was a tactic. I thought the first one was going to be completely in the saddle. Next one, I kind of do a little bit of both, and this one I've done a little bit of both as and when needed. So because this final ascent is kind of racing for the line, the pack that we were in kind of blew apart, and no one's together. But for that last K, I think these up ahead, some of them went a little bit too hard to start with, and I didn't. I was a little bit more reserved. I did notice there, so Rob popped his draft boost ahead of me, so since I'm in the draft and in his draft, I decided to use mine as well, because I think that's the whole point of it. You've got to be in the draft to reduce your draft or something. So I use it now because I don't know if I'm going to have the opportunity on the second orange part coming up to use it again. And as you can see, we're starting to lap a rider there. It must be from DCAT, because this is rapid, this is a fast pace, so it's nothing to be disheartened about. It is just a really, really tough pace. So I look ahead and they've got 7 seconds past Rob to the other riders, and then 13 seconds to the group ahead. So I'm not going to catch any of them, or I believe I'm not going to catch any of them. So I try and stick with Rob because, like I said, that's it's a good, really, really good aiming marker for my level at the moment. And as I come to this cobble section there, then I started just to ramp it up a little bit, because I know as soon as we hit the orange, the watts are going to go up even higher. So I just managed to get away a little bit from Rob, and then I caught one of the riders up ahead, which I think he just went a little bit too hard too early. And then I'm just not going crazy because I know this last bit is probably the hardest bit of the climb, but I'm just still putting the power down. And then obviously that guy I just took over must have had a little bit of a rocket up his backside, because he decided he's going to still race me for the line. And then this next section, I'm just out the saddle and just go up a couple of gears and just keep putting the watts down all the way to the finish line. And as you can hear, my body's just in absolute turmoil now. That is what it looks like when you've put in 100% effort, and I am suffering hard. I'm just taking some really big, deep breaths just to try and get my my breathing back to normal. So I kind of firmly believe that burying myself in that first climb got me with a pack of A-Cat riders that were moving slightly faster than maybe what a group of B-Cat riders were. And yeah, it was a little bit easier on the flats, but the climbs didn't get any easier. And can I only apologise for me almost throwing up there, but again, that's the effort level I put in on this one.
I said Ven 10 was like my race of the year. I think that's gonna kind of top it there. My aim going into that from the start was bury myself on that first KOM, try and stay with that A pack, because if I could have managed to get back on as we got over the top, then the race, although it would have been fast, would have been a lot easier in the pack. And I was just kind of glad that I climbed kind of out of my skin on that first one. As you can see, I nearly threw up a few times. And that is just solely the effort that I put in to get over there. The second and third ascents obviously weren't as quick, but I still felt it. I really did. And now I'm not as worried about that climb. It's still a tough climb. It's still a 5-minute effort. But I managed to kind of beat my demons in that one now. So where does that leave me then? That leaves me sitting right now, right at the top of GC. However, none of the GC contenders raced tonight, so they're all racing tomorrow, right, in the 5:30 one, of which I might race in it. I don't know. Right, I'm going to see how things go. There is people who are minutes ahead of me without this stage, and I don't think they would have got dropped like I got dropped at the top of that first climb. Some of them may have held on to that A pack that managed to get away, and I think that could be the difference there. But I said from the start, like a top 10 in GC I would have been ecstatic with. To be anywhere near the podium is just out of this world. The kind of bump that I'm getting in both training and kind of PRs, I'm starting to PR a lot of these events now, but I am just absolutely burying myself on every single climb, every single flat. because I just want to get better. And that's kind of the only way to get better. And I've said it a million times. It's become my mantra, and it is iron sharpens iron. So if you don't race with faster racers, you don't get faster. And that's kind of how I've took that forward. So there is only one stage left after this, and I'm gonna do mine on Saturday, I think, because Friday I'm working. And it is 5 laps of the Champs-Élysées, and it's not flat. Everyone thinks it's flat. It's not flat. It's got a little lump in the middle of it. But it's a sprinter's paradise. So this is probably the last stage where big time gaps can happen, because I think a lot of big packs are going to kind of follow on the Champs-Élysées. But we'll see. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I will film stage 7, since it will be the finale, and let's hope that I can maybe finish it. I'm gonna be bold now. I'm not gonna say a top 10. I want to finish top 5, which I think is pretty achievable. If I don't race tomorrow night, then I might race again Wednesday, depending on the times that the other GC leaders put in, and see if I can better the time I've done tonight. But it's gonna be tough to do that. So let's see. Well, if you've enjoyed this, come back and watch stage 7 at the weekend, and wish me luck, right? But more importantly, drop a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll try and answer every comment. Bye bye.